Did it happen? Could it happen? Undoubtedly it could. Only 3 years earlier, the Irish poet Tom Moore appeared on the field of combat to avenge a review by Geoffrey of the Edinburgh. These affairs were seldom fatal and sometimes farcical, though potentially the duelist stood, in respect to the law, no differently from a murderer. As for the murderee, a minor poet like Ezra Chater could go to his death in a Derbyshire grave as unmissed and unremembered as his contemporary and namesake, the minor botanist who died in the forests of the West Indies, lost to history like the monkey quid. On April 16, 1809, a few days after he left Sydney Park, Byron wrote to his solicitor, John Hanson, quote, "If the consequences of my leaving England were 10 times as ruinous as you describe, I have no alternative. There are circumstances which render it absolutely indispensable, and quit the country I must immediately." End quote. To the which the editor's note in the collected letters reads as follows, quote, "What Byron's urgent reasons for leaving England were at this time has never been revealed." End quote. The letter was written from the family seat, Newstead Abbey, Nottinghamshire. A long day's ride to the northwest lay Sydney Park, the estate of the Coveleys, a far grander family raised by Charles II to the Earl of Prune. Do you mind?
Anna,
What?
she's so
Hi.
Vernon is reading us his lecture.
Yes, I know. Yes, that was rude, wasn't it?
What's this?
Spot on. In the office library. Peacock's letter monograph.
Hannah, shut up.
Yes, sorry.
Oh, it's all right. I'll read it to myself.
I'm sorry, Vernon. Have I missed anything?
The Byrons of Newstead in 1809 comprised an eccentric widow and her undistinguished son, the lame brat, who, until the age of 10, when he came into the title, had been carted about the country from lodging to lodging by his vulgar, hectoring monster of a mother, overruled, and who, 4 months past his 21st birthday, was master of nothing but his debts and his genius. Between the Byrons and the Coveleys there was no social equality, and none to be expected. The connection, undisclosed to posterity until now, was with Septimus Hall, Byron's friend at Harrow and Trinity College. Sustained. Byron's contemporary at Harrow and Trinity College. And now tutor in residence to the Croon daughter, Thomasina Company. Byron's letters tell us where he was on April 8th and on April 12th. He was in Newstead. But on the 10th, he was at Sydney Park, as attested by the game book preserved there. April 10th, 1809, forenoon. High cloud, dry and sun between time. Wind southeasterly. Self, Augustus, Lord Byron. 14 pigeon, 1 hare, Lord B. But, as we know now, the drama of life and death at Sydney Park was not about pigeons, but about sex and literature.
Unless you were pigeon.
I don't have to do it. I'm paying you a compliment.
ignore him. Go on, get to the duel.
Hannah's not even paying attention.
Yes, I am. Oh, going in. I often work with the radio on.
Oh, thanks.
Much more.
Hannah!
It's fascinating. I just want to know how much more there was. And as Valentine about it. Yes, sorry, Vernon. Here on this cookie.
Yes, we're sorry.
Please, Vernon.
Where was I?
Pigeons.
Sex.
Literature.
Right there! Right! Nothing could be more eloquent of that than the 3 documents I have quoted. The terse demand to settle a matter in private, the desperate scrawl of "My husband has sent for pistols," and finally, on April 11th, the gauntlet thrown down by the aggrieved and coupleted author Ezra Chater. The covers have not survived. What is certain is that all 3 letters were in Byron's possession when his books were sold in 1860, preserved in the pages of the Count of Eros, which, 7 years earlier at Sydney Park, Byron had borrowed from Septimus Hall.
Borrowed?
I will be taking questions at the end. It's right, criticism to being acceptable, which is indeed my reason for trying out of the provinces before my opening in London under the auspices of the Byron Society. Oh, by the way, Valentine, do you want to credit that the game book is as recently discovered by?
It was never lost.
shame citing a member of the aristocracy. A poverty landlady that you were mentioning in the press release. How's that?
Very kind.
Press release? What happened to the Journal of English Studies?
Oh, that was later with the apparatus. And in the accepted tone, very dry, very modest, yet unmistakably, eat your heart out, you dozy bastard. But until then, it's media dogma early to avoid disappointment. Where was I?
Game books.
Borrow.
Right? Borrowed from something's hot. Is it conceivable that the letters were already in the book when Byron borrowed it?
Yes.
Shut up,
Well, it is conceivable.
Is it likely that Hodge would have lent Byron the book without first removing the 3 private letters?
No, sorry. I only meant Byron could have borrowed the book without asking.
That's true.
But why would he try and get the letters back then?
Don't know, I wasn't there.
That's right, you bloody wonders.
Go on, Bernard.
It's the 3rd document. The challenge itself that convinces. Chaytor, as a man and a poet, points his finger at his slanderer in the press. Neither as a man nor a poet did Ezra Chaytor cut such a finger as to be perpetually slandered, or even mentioned in the press. It is surely indisputable that the slander is the review of the Maid of Turkey in the Piccadilly Recreation. Did Septimus Hodge have any connection to the London periodicals? No. Did Byron? Yes! He had reviewed Wordsworth 2 years earlier. He was to review Spencer 2 years later. And do we have any clue as to Byron's opinion of Chaytor the poet? Yes! Who else but Byron could have penciled those lines into Lady Groom's copy of English Bars and Scotch Reviewers?
Almost anybody.
Darling.
Don't call me darling.
Dickhead then. Is it likely that that Chaytor was his friend, Septimus Hodge, is the same man who fucked his wife and kicked the shit out of his last book?
I almost said it.
It's been deeply rooted in the past, haven't you, Hannah?
Nothing compares to listening to this. Why was there nothing in Byron's letters about the Piccadilly reviews?
Exactly, because he killed the author.
But the first one, the Maid of Turkey, was the year before. Was he clairvoyant?
Let us get lost.
Thank you, precisely. There is a platonic letter somewhere explaining everything, lost but ineradicable, like radio waves rippling through the universe for all eternity. My dear Hodge, here I am in Albania, the only person in the whole world who knows why. Poor seed. I never meant him any harm except in the Piccadilly, of course. It was the woman who bade me, dear Hodge. What a wretched business, but thank God it always did well for poetry. Yours ever, Lord Byron. P.S. Bonus.
How did Chaytor find out the review was Byron?
I don't know, I wasn't there, was I? Oh, you have something you want to say?
What? I know. Byron told Mrs. Chaytor in bed. Next day, he dumped her, so she rushed on and completed it.
Dick-Rick? What do you mean, Dick-Rick?
Number 10.
Right, forget it.
I'm sorry.
No, I've had nothing but interruptions and childish insults since I started.
What did I do?
No credit for possibly the greatest literary discovery of the
I
century.
think you're jolly unfair. Then Gettysburg.
I won't say another word.
Yes, go on, Bernard, we promise.
Well, only if Hill stopped feeding tortoises.
Well, this is lunchtime.
And only if I am afforded the common courtesy of a scholar among scholars.
Absolute mum till you finish.
After which, any criticisms are to be counted in terms of accepted academic
Dignity, your right.
respect.
Respect, yes. The language of scholars count on it.
Last paragraph. Without question, Ezra Chaytor issued a challenge to someone. If a duel was fought in the dawn mist of Sidley Park in April 1809, his opponent, on the evidence, was a critic with a gift for ridicule and a taste for seduction. Do we need to look far? Without question, Mrs. Chaytor was a widow by 1810 if we seek the occasion of Ezra Chaytor's early and unrecorded death. Do we need to look far? Without question, Lord Byron, in the very season of his emergence as a literary figure, quit the country in a cloud of panic, mystery, and stayed abroad for 2 years at a time when continental travel was both unusual and dangerous. If we seek his reason, do we need to look far?
It's bollocks!
I think
overweending, forward for something.
Bernard, I don't know why I'm bothered. You're arrogant, greedy, and reckless. Gone from a glitch in your eyes to a sure thing and a hop, skip, and a jump. You deserve what you get, and I think you're mad. Can't help myself. You're like some exasperating child pedaling its tricycle towards the edge of the cliff, and I have to do something. So listen to me. If Byron killed Chaytor in a duel, I am Maria Romania. You'll end up with so much fame you won't leave the house without a paper bag over your head.
Actually, Bernard, as a scientist, your theory isn't complete.
But I'm not a scientist.
No, as a scientist.
I have yet to hear a proper argument.
Nobody would kill a man and pan his book, at least not in that order. So he must have borrowed the book, written the review, posted it, seduced Mrs. Chaytor, fought a duel, and then departed all in the space of 2 or 3 days. Who would do that?
Why?
Oh, it's hopeless.
You've never understood him, as you've shown in your novelette.
In my what?
Oh, I'm sorry, did you think it was a work of historical revisionism? Lord Byron, raised beyond his gifts by the spirit of the age, and Caroline Lamb, shafted by a male society.
I read that somewhere.
Tis review.
And bloody well said, too. You've got them backwards, darling. Caroline was a romantic waffle on wheels with no talent, and Byron was an 18th century rationalist, touched by genius.
And you can take her.
If it's not too late to change my mind, I'd like you to go ahead.
Oh, I intend to. Look to the note in your own eye. You even got the wrong blow on the dust jacket.
Dust jacket?
What about my computer model? Did you go into mention it?
It's inconclusive.
Do we do the reviews on Byron's other reviews, you see?
What the hell do you mean, the wrong
The
no?
other reviews aren't a very good fit for each other, are they?
No, but differently. The parameters.
Parameters? You can't stick Byron's head in your laptop. Genius isn't like your average grouse.
Well, it's all trivial anyway.
Excuse me.
Who wrote what when?
I'm sorry, did you say trivial?
Personalities.
Trivial?
It's a technical term.
Not where I come from, it isn't.
Look, what you're asking doesn't matter. It's like arguing who got there first with calculus. The English say Newton, the Germans say Leibniz, but it doesn't matter. Personalities. What matters is the calculus, scientific progress, knowledge.
Really? Why?
Why what?
Why does scientific progress matter more than personality?
Is he serious?
No, he's trivial. Bernard!
Do yourself a favor. You're on a loser.
Oh, like you go into Zambia with penicillin and pesticides. Spare me that. And I'll spare you the bomb and aerosols, but don't confuse progress with perfectibility. A great poet is always timely. A great philosopher is an urgent need. I can't think of anything more trivial than the speed of light. There is no rush for Isaac Newton. We were quite satisfied with Aristotle's view of the cosmos. Personally, I prefer it. 55 crystal spheres geared to God's crankshaft is my idea of a satisfying universe. Again, I can't think of anything more trivial than the speed of light. Quarks, quasars, big bangs, black holes. Who gives a shit? How do you people call us out of all that status, all that money? And why are you so pleased with yourselves?
Are you against penicillin?
Don't feed me arrogant. Personally, I pushed a lot of you off a cliff at night if it was up to me. Except for the one in the wheelchair, I think I lose the sympathy vote before people had time to think it through.
What do you mean, the dust jacket?
Knowledge isn't self-knowledge. It isn't doing much, is it, mate? Is the universe expanding? Is it contracting? Is it standing on one leg and saying, when Father painted a parlor, leave me out! I can expand my universe without you. She walks in beauty, like the night of cloudless climes in starry skies. And all that's best of dark and bright meet in her aspect and her eyes. There you are. He wrote it after coming home from a party. What is it you were doing with grouse again, Valentine? I'd love to know.
He's not against penicillin, and he knows I'm not against poetry. I've given up on grouse.
You haven't, Valentine.
I can't do it anymore.
Why?
It's just too much noise. Too much bloody noise.
You bastard, Bernard!
Well, I think that's everybody. You can leave now. Give Lively a good kick on your way out.
Yes, I'm sorry about that. So much luck it was not doing prose, is it? distinguished guests speak up.
But of course it's them everyone knows.
Popular tradition only. He's Everman, yeah. No earlier than 1820. Read at your leisure. It's a charming sketch, of course. Byron was in Italy.
I know it's them.
How?
How? It is. Analysed it on big toe.
Language.
He's wrong.
Oh, gut instinct, you mean?
He's wrong.
Oh, well. It's all trivial, isn't it? Why don't you come with me
Where?
to London?
To London? What for?
What for?
Oh, your lecture, son.
Good God, no. Bugger that. For sex.
No. Thank you. Bernard!
You should try it. It's very unreasonable.
I've got nothing against it.
Yes, you have. You should let yourself go a bit. You might have written a better book. Or at least a right book.
Sex and literature. Literature and sex. Your conversation left to itself doesn't have many places to go. Two marbles rolling around the pudding mixing. One of them is always sex.
Yes, men all over.
No doubt. Einstein, relativity and sex. Chippendale, sex and furniture. Galileo to the earth move. What is it with you people? Chaps sometimes want to marry me and what's pocket? Available sex against knocking out a fart in bed? What do you mean the right book?
It takes a romantic to make a hero out of Caroline Lamb. You'll cut out the violin.
So, cheerio.
Oh, I'm coming back for the dance, actually. Nobody's asked me.
She meant well, but I don't dance.
No, I'm going with her.
I see. I don't, actually.
I'm her date. Some Rosa, don't tell Mother.
She doesn't want her mother to know.
You kidding? I don't want her mother to know. This is my first experience with a landed aristocracy. I'll tell you, I'm boggle-eyed.
You haven't seduced that girl.
Seduced her? Every time I looked round, she was halfway up a lively ladder. In the end, I mean. Oh, that reminds me. Yeah, I spotted something between her legs. Made me think of you. Each traveller and Gettysburg, James Godolphin, 1832. Unillustrated, I'm afraid.
The world is going to hell in a hand hot.
Here we are. Simply proud. 500 acres, including 40 of lake. Garden done by Brown and Noakes has features in the horrid style. Viaduct, grotto, etc. Here we go. A hermitage, occupied by a hermit since 20 years. No companion save for a tortoise, flowers, which he suffers children to touch on request. A tortoise. They must be safe from here.
Thank you.
Station taxis, yeah?
Ah, yes, thank you. Oh, did Peacock come on trust?
For some.
And its name is CD. My dear Thackeray. Well, wish me luck. Oh, I'm sorry about your, you know, and about your.
Piss off,
That's right.
Don't let Bernard get you. It's only performance art, you know, rhetoric. They used to teach in ancient times like PT. It's not about being right. They had philosophy for that. Rhetoric was their talk show. Bernard's indignation is a sort of aerobics on he gets on television.
I don't care to be punished by the dustbin. What's the music?
Testament of the Lunatic serves as a caution against French fashion, which was Frenchified mathematics that brought to him the melancholy certitude of a world without light or life, as a wooden stove that must consume itself until ash and stove are one, and the heat is gone from the earth.
Huh.
He died aged 70 years and 7, Aureus, Job, and meagre as a cabbage stalk. The proof of his predictions, even yet unyielding for the restitution outward through good English algebra.
Is that all?
Is there anything in it?
In what? What's wrong, Jude? Oh, yes, sure. It's called the second law of thermodynamics.
Was it known about?
Only by poets and lunatics from a time immemorial.
Seriously?
No.
Does it have anything to do with, you know, Thomasina's discovery?
She didn't discover anything.
The lesson book.
No.
genius of silly pub living on in a hermit's hut?
You don't know